And hello again for another episode of our Trader Hangout. This week we have our reoccurring guest, Zane from OKCoin, your host, me, BTC Vix, and co-host Flibber, along with our panel. Some of the things we'll be covering with them today include the changes to their insurance fund with the larger socialized loss that happened last week, the addition of the algorithmic order type to the futures, as well as some other concerns that we'll go into. So just to start, Zane, welcome back. So what's new since we last met a month ago over at OKCoin?
Well, thanks for having me again. Happy we can continue to do this, and yeah, I'll just dive right into it. So we added TWAPs for futures. I believe we made the announcement today. I still haven't put it up on Reddit yet, but the TWAPs are on futures now. So we've brought our entire algo suite over from spot trading. So we have limit orders, trigger orders, trailing orders, iceberg orders, and TWAPs.
And
Um,
can I
Go ahead.
I'll stop you right there. I've really fallen in love with the iceberg orders. I've been really busy, with all the market action, but I do want to get in and make a tutorial specifically for those iceberg orders. I think a lot of people are just a little overwhelmed with the interface when they first see it, what each thing means and such like that. Yeah, if you play around with it, you'll figure it out. But I was a little bit questioning with TWAP. Why is there like only 5 second limits on that? Were you able to get that out of CZ? I know he was sick, but do you know why some of
Uh,
those things are there?
I haven't had much of contact with CZ lately. I had to take a day off yesterday, and then CZ's been sick most of the week. So I wasn't able to ask him about that. Um, but I'll make sure and get an answer for you and let you know. But when I talked to some of the other guys on the dev team, when I asked them a couple things, like the other one was why can you only have three unfilled icebergs or TWAPs or anything like that, and they were kind of asking for the reasons why the need there what the need for more than that is. Um, because the thinking for the iceberg orders especially was if you have three of those, you have one for each contract. So where are the other orders going to? Like where are they being used? Why do they need more than three orders? And then for the 5 seconds on the TWAP, I'll make sure and look into that and let you know.
Yeah, I will say that I have not been practicing or utilized the TWAP probably. I just kind of did a little test run of it. That's one thing that I noticed very quickly with some of the restrictions on the settings. But as far as this clarification on why more than three, sometimes you'll use an iceberg and you'll layer it in with different parameters. So it's different kind of levels of layering in an order. It's not just simply, oh, well, I'll just use an iceberg for this one part. I might double iceberg with, a 0.1% variance and a 0.5 variance and different lot sizes in there, as well as, then have my like take profit iceberg out there as well. So that's just something that, I guess is the question is like, the traders are going to we always want more stuff. So,
All right. Well, I don't think things like this are necessarily hard to change. It's just when we launch it, we want to make sure that we have a sound product through and through, and get it to the users as quick as possible. So something like the limit for three orders and the 5 second limit for the TWAPs. I don't imagine that that's terribly hard to change, and we can go back and look at that afterwards. So once we get a little bit of feedback from the users, from you guys, we can look into it again and see about changing it.
fair enough. And then, one of the probably the biggest things of last week was we had the socialized loss that ended up eating through uh, basically
Um,
all of the insurance fund, and now there's changes that you guys gone about. Can you talk about those changes, or what
yeah,
do you want to clarify?
first I'll finish what else was new real quick, and then we can go on to that. Is that good?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, and then the other thing that we added was the ability to export all your transactions and orders via Excel. And then just the other day we added order IDs to each order. So if you're doing accounting or whatever for tax purposes, now it should be a little bit easier. Each order will have an order ID, each transaction will have a transaction ID, and you can get that all via Excel. Yeah.
Yeah, that is something that I didn't know. And then I know Flibber's been he's been harping on that specifically as far as a data set. Um, Flibber, did you have something to add as far as like cleaning up the order history?
Yeah, well, there's three things really. You've got the open orders tab, the order history tab, and then kind of like what more can you do with the order history? And on the open orders, the same with the order history actually, you've grouped them all into like these kind of sub buttons. So you've got open orders, limit order, trigger order, trailer orders, la la la. But the problem is it's too slow. Like say it's moving fast and you've got a lot of orders, you've got some limit orders, you've got some trigger orders, and you want to go and change those. You got to go to the open orders tab, then click limit or wait for that to load. Cancel your limit orders, wait for that to load, then click the trigger order page, wait for that to load, and it's like it's slow. So I don't know why you don't just just put it like on open orders. You've just got like headings or something. It's like I could scroll down quicker. It's quicker for me to scroll down than it is to have these tabs. I just think the tabs are slow. So that's what I think with the open orders one. And the order history, right? My order history is like peppered with orders that I've cancelled. And when I go on the order history, I want to look at like my order history. I mean, maybe I don't want to see the cancelled ones. Maybe I just want to see, just open longs, close longs. Maybe I just want to see open short, close shorts. Maybe I want to see just both of those, and I don't want to see cancelled orders at all. Maybe I just want to see cancelled orders by itself. So I think I don't know why limit order, trigger order, that stuff can't be just bundled into one. So I think there's efficiency improvements in both of those. And the final thing on top of it was to say you already have the full order history. People are exporting the data into Excel and publishing charts and stuff themselves. I mean, it can't be easy. It can't be hard using like the high charts library. No other site is doing this right now. To provide like I called it like a trade analytics page. Where you could go on, look at some stats of maybe like win loss ratio, profit loss ratio, over like 10 days, 14 days, 30 days, whatever. And have it like come up on a little graph. You can screenshot it, send it to other people or something. Nobody else is doing that now.
Right, just more of a better accounting style page to show you how you've done.
Yeah, definitely. Yes, so you can see like maybe like one example would be like a graph, and at the bottom is like every day, and then on the X and Y axis you've got like a line that goes a horizontal line in the middle, and the XY axis is like profit loss. So some days would be blank where you didn't even make a trade. Some days it would go up when you made profit. Some days it would go down. Maybe that could be one visual representation. You could do this like, this kind of like enable people to like see and visualize their performance that, they can then like screenshot, send to other people, or just look at it. You could even do better stuff like maybe, it's way down the line, but you could even start to say, well, can I export that data into profit loss into Quandl, stick it on TradingView, and then I can overlay it over Bollinger Bandwidth and stuff like this. So, but yeah, I just think there's a lot of potential there that nobody's doing right now.
All right.
That I think people are interested in.
Yeah, I think we've been more focused on the trading side of things, but I can definitely look into having an account page with more statistics and more visualizations of how you've traded.
Yeah, I think that's really cool because nobody else has got it right now, and everybody that is trading wants to see how their performance is and compare against other people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And just a quick side note to the other things you brought up. Yeah, we've already talked about the filters for filtering out canceled orders and stuff like that. That's definitely something that we'd like to have because you do get a bloated order history page when everything's mixed together and you can't filter anything out.
Cool.
Yeah, I was just gonna. I do notice now the liquidations page gets a lot of coverage from the traders, especially over on Twitter and Reddit, etc. Especially in our room too. Is there a way that there's like an API that we could export some of those like the open orders, the open margin calls, and then we could use that as like analytics as well?
So all you guys want is the open margin calls, what positions they are?
Yeah, like kind of. I
Because
mean,
the part of it is that the loss, right? The loss of that order, however much that order is lost, it constantly changes with the price. And so the only thing we'd be able to export is, how many contracts and at what price or what the price of the order is. We couldn't tell you guys what the system loss on that order is.
well, let me just frame it this way. We could include the filled orders too as kind of like you think of it like a visualization against a price chart, and then you could have maybe all the filled orders be green ones or something or yellow ones. It's kind of like shows like almost like all the explosions of what happened in there, and then you have I don't know, maybe a red one is the open one because we have some like Apple devs that are really keen on analytical data, and they were looking at representing that as like a visual. So they were looking for some kind of API where they could plug in, they could pull that data, and then they could represent it in a visual format, similar to kind of the way BFX data does some of those things.
Mm-hmm.
Like yeah, we can go ahead.
I was just gonna say, you're asking for having the filled orders. What um I guess what would you use the filled liquidation orders for? What purpose would they serve?
Yeah, I mean, data analytics and the quantification of data is always, are we just looking at noise? Are we seeing things out of it? I do think it's less important than the open orders data, but it's kind of shows like a roadmap of where the contract, has gone and extreme areas of activity. Because people do look at like volume bars, right? A
Mm-hmm.
volume profile of, where has large volume occurred on the chart. So it may be something that people find useful. I don't know. It's just something coming over from some of the Apple devs we're working with as far as representing that data.
All right. All right, I can look into that. But yeah, I've seen quite a few times now the request for having the liquidation, the open liquidations order available via an API call. So I can bring that up and see what we can do.
All right, BT Straight, do you have a comment on this?
Yeah, it's useful because if you see a whole bunch of liquidation, if there's been a big price move and there's a whole bunch of liquidations, it gives you an idea of momentum, and like who's
All
been
right.
screwed. Were those really
All
trades
right.
or, were those people getting squeezed out? So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like
All right. Well.
something, for example, if there's like a 10K, filled order, a 10K contract filled order, it's going to look like, a nuclear bomb explosion on that chart. I mean, it's going to be
Mhm.
noticeable. I don't know what people are going to discern out of that, but that's kind of what we are as traders. We're always trying to discern what data is relevant and what's not relevant. It's just another component that we're looking at.
All right. Yeah. Well, I can definitely see about getting that done then.
And I guess now that we've kind of are making that pivot, do you want to go into the changes with? I mean, first of all, last week we used up the entire insurance fund. You guys have made changes. I know it confused some people. I think people kind of knee-jerk panic thinking a margin call you just lose all of your account. But I mean, they needed to read a little bit more carefully. But can you clarify what those changes are to what is going into the insurance fund and such.
Absolutely. So last week we had the big price rise and then the dip, and so part of the problem with, or I guess to explain how liquidation orders work, I know all you guys know this, but for anybody that might be listening, is if we have a big dip and we return to the price, a lot of the liquidation orders are going to get filled because we return. So, for example, when we had the dive down to 157, a lot of people with long positions got liquidated as the price tanked. But since the price kind of rebounded back up to that price, we were able to fill those orders and avoid system loss. And then last week, the price kind of went up a lot, and we weren't able to fill a lot of those orders back. And so that's what the liquidation, that's why we had such a high system loss last week. And in particular, there was one guy who I think got margin called on 8,600 contracts, and that led to alone about 500 and some odd Bitcoin system loss. So it was one guy that really screwed up. And then to explain how the new system works for deposits into the insurance fund. So each week we're going to deposit 25 Bitcoin into the insurance fund. So a total of 100 to 125 every month. And then in addition to that, we're going to take, if you get liquidated before, we would liquidate you at about 10% of your holdings. And then anything that was remaining after you were liquidated, we would return to the user's liquidation balance. So when we got rid of the insurance fund, or the deposits into the insurance fund, and instituted this new method, basically what we're doing is taking whatever left after a user gets liquidated and putting it into the insurance fund. So the reasons for this are kind of twofold. Is one, I think people have been using the quick margin calls. So if you're at 20 times, you only need 5%. Is a type of stop loss, and that leads to a lot of liquidations, which is bad for everybody because it can lead to system loss and then socialized losses. And so we really want to try and discourage at all costs people from getting margin called. And so if you get margin called, that's the cause of our system loss and socialized losses. And so basically we're saying because these select few are causing the problem, they're going to have to chip in more to the insurance fund. And so that's what we were thinking with that. And then so yeah, now the insurance fund is the liquidation balance that used to be returned to the user, and our 25 Bitcoin each month deposit, or each week, 25 Bitcoin each week.
Yeah, I've been kind of keeping track to see, what you guys are, gathering throughout a day from those recovered balances. It appears to be somewhere between 8 to 12 Bitcoins a day. And obviously that'll vary immensely if we go through a very volatile period.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, and this is something that we're just looking and making sure it goes well, and we're still open to other options, but we think that this is a pretty solid solution for the time being.
Yeah, I definitely think if we can just avoid a few weeks of socialized losses and let that fund catch up, it should work out much better. But at least, like I said, you said that you'll be applying 25 Bitcoins per week into that insurance fund, as well as whatever you are able to, the salvage operation as well.
That is correct. So we'll be putting in 25 Bitcoin each week of OKCoin funds into the insurance fund.
Okay. And then, so, the other big thing that, we all became aware of, I think actually a lot of us had a lot of fun of it once we realized it was there, was the wheel spinning. That was apparently only made for, or was only facing the Chinese speaking user base. I I got a couple hundred Litecoin out of that I played around with. I guess why? What's the reasoning behind that? And do you have anything on the agenda or in the pipeline for us English speakers, or us Westerners?
I'll just go ahead and save this one for the AMA tomorrow. But the short and simple of it was a marketing promotion aimed at Chinese users, and so we kind of kept it restricted to Chinese users. But there's a little bit longer explanation of what happened there, and that'll be in Stars AMA tomorrow.
Okay, fair enough. And then Flipper, do you have something to add to this?
Yeah, I mean, you said we get 25 BTC, added into the insurance fund, but the Chinese version of the site, I mean, they're getting 100 BTC added to it.
No, they're getting 100 BTC every month. So if you look at the Chinese version
okay.
you just pulled up, it says OKCoin 将会提供每月. 每月 is every month. And so we did 25 every week instead of 100 every month. But yeah, in the end, it's the same amount.
So,
okay, cool.
So Flipper, you need to brush up on your Chinese. I know you've been slacking.
Yeah.
You've been fucking around too much during slow action and not brushing up on that.
好聽開聲.
But Flipper, did you want to take them through that screenshot that we have? Flipper? Flipper, do you have that screenshot up? Hello? Hello?
I think
Hello, testing. I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Flipper.
Yeah. Did you have a look at that screenshot? Did you, Zane?
I don't believe I did.
I'll put it in the chat.
Screen share.
Yeah. I'll put it on the
Share
screen
that,
share. I gotta screen share it.
Yeah.
So,
I did see this. This is something I was hoping I'd be able to get a chance to go over with CZ. Unfortunately, he wasn't in the office today, so I didn't have the opportunity to do that.
yeah, because when it happened, this reminded me.
Can you run through what we're seeing for everyone else?
Yeah, what we're seeing here, because a while ago I did that order and it just seemingly skipped through like literally $10 worth of orders and just completely tanked it on a 13 contract market sell. I mean, how fucking $10 worth of orders got pulled at the very moment I did a 13 contract market sell, I would never know. But this happened again. So price was at like 241, and then suddenly it just jumped instantly. If you look at the log, it skipped like 240, 239, and went straight to 237. Then come in like 238, 239, and then it skipped like $4 worth of orders instantly. And so it looked very similar to what happened before.
Yeah, I had the image. I think it was like $2.20 that it skipped. And this happened is interesting because the reason I think a lot of us caught this and we've been aware of it either way, but it was pretty close to settlement when this happened. So like all of us were glued to the charts. And that was like a 4K contract sell. And yeah, there was literally like $2.20 of error that happened between like a 239 to a